Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights the people who've had an association with the Kosh and the surrounding Fox Cities region. Kosh listeners, how are you doing today? It is another fabulous day here, another fabulous weekend day here in Kosh Studios. You know, I tend to just continue to make up more Kosh things as we have more episodes. First, let me say thank you for joining us on Podcast Day, which you know always makes me super happy. Okay, the rundown. It is a beautiful spring day. It is sunny. It is crisp, but not that crisp where you're cold. Just, you know, nice, cool. Actually, some of my favorite weather because I'm not quite ready to give up flannels. This is perfect flannel weather. So, you know, I'm not mad about this. Also, Kosh listeners, you already know, hopefully some of y'all are connected with me on social media, but you already know Timber has a business that sponsors these episodes, and that business is called Timber Ties. And we've been doing some things out here. I'm happy to share with you that Timber got his first small business grant, which is fantastically huge to me. It's not a huge grant, but it's still a huge deal. Just keeping it 100 with y'all. But nonetheless, be sure to go check us out. We are rolling into wedding season. I believe Timber Ties is the perfect accessory for those individuals out there who might need something distinct for their wedding, whether you're a guest or whether you're a groomsman or anyone else for that matter of fact. All right. So, and that's timber-ties.com. Okay. Now, what I want to share with y'all is this. So in this particular episode, what ended up happening was we did an episode and we were making magic. We were making magic and the equipment failed. And we were so far down the line that we couldn't just like pick up and continue from where we were at. So I got an opportunity to bring this guest back again because they were kind enough to come sit back in the chair. So I appreciate them so much for doing that. And in this case, this means even more when I say, I don't know how we continue to get these amazing guests here on the Kosh, but this week won't be any different. So without any further ado, this week's guest is Vicki Updike. Hey, Vicki, what's going on?
Hi, Timber. Glad to be here.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for coming back.
You're so right about a beautiful morning. So beautiful today in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. It's cool. Like, it almost makes me want to grill something.
Well, you know, it is a little cool, but the sun is warm. So It's just, we haven't felt that in a while. So it feels good.
You're right. Because we've had a series of kind of gloom days in these last couple of days.
Right.
Okay. Well, Vicki, you sound like you're ready to make magic happen a second time with me, right?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Okay. Well, Vicki, can you please tell us about yourself and your association with the Kosh?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Vicki Updike. So I actually was born here in Northeast Wisconsin in Green Bay. And, you know, through my career, it took me out of Northeast Wisconsin. And, you know, when my kids were small, I really made it a point to come back to Northeast Wisconsin and really wanted to raise my kids here. And so I had a wonderful opportunity in Oshkosh that brought me back up to Northeast Wisconsin. And so, you know, it's just been an amazing journey. And my kids were small when we moved up here. And, you know, my goal for them to know their family and to be close to their cousins and all of that. And it, you know, it worked. My son was the best man in his cousin's wedding this past year. And, you know, so Northeast Wisconsin is a special place. Oshkosh is a special place. I had a wonderful career here. And, you know, you know, we have so much right here. It's amazing.
Facts. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we kind of referred to Northeast Wisconsin as the boomerang capital. Where people, because people, when you grow up here, sometimes you feel like you got to spread your wings a little bit. But then you go spread your wings and you're kind of like, kind of had it good where we were at. I'm going to kind of boomerang back there to be around family and friends.
You are so right. It was at my son's high school graduation that the principal actually said, go out and do good in the world and, be amazing. But when you are ready to raise your kids, bring them back here because we want to educate your kids. And that was so powerful to me because I see it too. It happens. My daughter was on the west side of the state. She was kind of being pulled to the Minneapolis area. And, and a few years ago, she said, Mom, I think I'm going to move back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's going to move back. But she boomeranged back and lives here in the area and, is doing very well. So I love to see it. I boomeranged and I had one of my kids boomerang. So you're absolutely right.
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that your boomerang energy happens to rub off on my daughter. So, Boo, if you are out there and you just happen to want to boomerang back home to the Kosh loves you. Come on back, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I haven't won that battle yet, though. No, she loves where she's at, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
Okay, we went into very briefly, well, actually, you just lightly mentioned here in the intro about this really cool career. Can we talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Yes, because there's nothing little about it. All right, Vicki, let's go.
You make me laugh. Yeah, my career was great. I worked for really wonderful companies. The first company that I worked for out of college was actually American Girl. And it was back when it was still owned by Pleasant Rowland, the founder. And it was a wonderful experience and really I was able to experience leadership in a really awesome form, right? They listened to people. They asked for feedback. They did all the right things. And so that was a wonderful place to start my career. The second one was not so great. And it was kind of the opposite of the leadership I saw at American Girl. And so I still stayed there for a few years. And it was when I was at that company that I decided I need to move back to Northeast Wisconsin. So I went on to monster.com. I know that ages me.
Yeah, until you said it, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So it was good old monster.com. I had a bad meeting and I had a bad, it was just one of those moments when you're like, what am I doing here? Why am I spending my valuable time at a company that I don't respect? And I had one of those moments. So I went back to my little cubicle in the world and I went on to monster.com. I searched for my marketing position in Northeast Wisconsin and up popped the position at Miles Kimball. And I applied for that job within that half hour. And so that night, the vice president of HR called me. Now, mind you, I have 2 small kids and it was 6:00 at night. So anybody with small kids knows 6:00 is kind of a chaos hour.
Facts.
Right. So I am on my landline talking to Miles Kimball, right? The company Miles Kimball. And I am stretched my landline cord into the bathroom and I shut the door to try to keep the chaos on the other side and have a conversation. But I had a great conversation, a great vibe going and was able to secure an interview. So I am right. So I had seen some of the best leadership I've seen, right? I've seen some of the worst leadership that I experienced. And so I loaded up my blue minivan with my Bon Jovi CDs.
Ooh.
Right. And again, I know it ages me. And I made the trip up to Oshkosh to interview for the Miles Kimball position. And so I was ready to go. Right. I was ready to emulate the good, learn from the bad, and really take this to my new role. And started at Miles Kimball just a few weeks later. So it's, and I was there for 14 years.
You know, Vicki, the thing that out of everything you said, there's going to be people listening to this episode and they're going to say, cords and phones? You took a corded phone to the bath? What is that?
I know. Well, and I actually had to put CDs in my minivan to play music, right? Ooh. I mean, this is right. This is a few years ago.
People will never understand our struggle. Well, I want to go back to the leadership of the second opportunity that you had of the second company. And I want to ask, was it a culture thing or a leadership thing? And I asked that specifically, like, because as I've gotten older, I'm super picky about my leaders. Like if I have a bad inkling about my leader or whatever, no matter how good the opportunity is, I can't go down that path because of how I have to be able to respect the leader. I have to be able to buy into the vision or their methods. But sometimes it's a culture thing. Which was it?
Yeah. So in my experience, right, there was 4 executives and they were just suits that walked around the office. They didn't interact with us. I don't think I heard the president speak live the whole time I was there. It was just, and so they just kept themselves in meetings behind closed doors most of the day. And I struggled to know where I fit, right? What was the value that I was creating in this organization that fit to where it was going? I had no idea. So I also see that leadership is the one that drives the culture. You cannot have culture when the leadership of the organization is different, right? There's no such thing as different cultures between the leaders and then the rest of us, right? So I think it is what they emulated. And it was very much, heads down, do your business, right? Do your thing. And I am more about collaboration. I want to get to know the people around me. I want to know the value I'm creating for you. And I just was never able to get it there.
Well, now I'm going to pivot back to Miles Kimball, right? Because I heard the number 14 thrown out there, right? And we started in this one space. Where did we end?
Right. So my last 8 years at Miles Kimball was as president of the organization. And it was an amazing journey. And to have that opportunity in Oshkosh was, really the shining moment of my career.
Miles Kimball was really a big deal around here. Can we talk a little bit about that legacy?
Yeah, let's talk. Miles Kimball was a person. Alberta Kimball, these were people that really had a vision for not only the business that they started and created, but for their role here in the community. And it's that legacy and that corporate citizen that was so important as I moved into leadership at Miles Kimball, is to keep that interaction with the community, the value we could bring back into the community. Our people at Miles Kimball were from Oshkosh. These are the people in the grocery stores, and their kids were on the soccer fields. And it meant a lot to us to be able to be in those spaces, in those environments. So it's really has a fabulous legacy here in Oshkosh. Yeah.
What's it like to be in the big chair? Because I think that's something, I don't know if people always actually get to talk to somebody who sits in the big chair.
Yeah.
Right. I've been lucky enough that I've worked closely with leaders in big chairs. What would you share about sitting in the big chair?
Yeah. So there's a component of pride. So, right. It's not about my pride. For me, it's the pride of the organization and the pride of the team. So there's that. There's a little bit of, do I know what I'm doing? Right? There is always that imposter syndrome. And so there is that. There's the lonely component.
Yes.
Because you have very few people to talk to about the hard things. And so that, that's real, and through all of that, the most important thing I found is developing the leaders in the organization, because their effort, their knowledge, their fabulous, energy is what makes the company what they are. So it wasn't about me. It was about creating that form of leadership throughout the organization. But yeah, it was, and it, for me, moving up through the organization, right, was a journey. And some of the people still saw me as what I was when I started. And that's okay, right? I want to be authentic. And so the persona of being president is a heavy load to carry. And it wasn't until a few years into my president that as I was in that role that I realized I don't need to carry that anymore and just be me. And that was really a great moment when I was able to just be me.
That has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, at the time, Miles Kimball was owned by a public company on the East Coast. So those were the people I reported to. So every quarter I had to go out to the East Coast and present our results and our marketing plan and our strategic plan and, do all of that, and I'm just this girl from Green Bay, Wisconsin, that literally is worrying about if anybody's shoveling her driveway that night, in these boardrooms and, the big black leather chairs, the mahogany paneling, the podium. I mean, what you picture, it's all there. So that, right. So I had to turn around and be that executive, which I was able to do, but my comfort was coming back home and being the leader and the person that the team could depend on and trust.
For those people out there, what I've learned is the Kosh actually has a young person audience, and they like listening to these people in the community, maybe people they know or are educated, whatever they're however they move around in the community and they're familiar with them. What could you share with someone, maybe young or old, whose dreams are to be in the chair?
Yeah. Well, I would say, stay focused but it's not about knowing your end game today. And because each step we take, we learn and grow, and we may, continue to evolve in a way that we can't see right now. So one is I would ask them to stay curious, right? Learn as you go. And it's not the confidence to get there. It's that courage to continue to take the steps to get there. And because, confidence is something that comes and goes. And I would say even as president of an organization that I'd been doing it for years, I still lacked confidence at times. No one is 100% confident 100% of the time.
Facts.
And so let's stop pretending.
Yes.
And so it's just the courage to be in the room. It's just the courage to speak up. It's just the courage to advocate for someone. It's those things. And really, what I would say is there are these opportunities right here in our backyard. They are there. So, it's possible.
Okay, so I'm going to pivot a little bit now. I don't know what your topic of the week is, but maybe this will be covered in the topic of the week. So you don't have to go that deep, but I'm going to ask you, Vicki, what are we doing now?
Yes. Yeah, I took a pivot, right? Talk about a pivot. Yeah, there came a time I never thought I would leave corporate, right? I really, truly enjoyed my role. But what I enjoyed about it was leading the people, really building up the people, right? That leadership development, so it took a while, but I started my own company and went out on my own. And so today I do executive coaching, strategic planning, and really, and bringing that to other organizations and other people. So it was a significant pivot.
Okay, are we going to give them a name?
So my company's name is New Sage Strategies. And, when I started with a resource group. And the first resource group that I put together for New Sage Strategies was of women presidents. Because, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I struggled with is I didn't have people to talk to about the hard things. And this group they built the trust and the vulnerability to lean into each other and really help each other and support each other. And I'm very proud of that environment that I'm able to bring those leaders. So, it's really seeing the challenges that I had throughout my career were still there. And it motivated me to truly step in and help and support these mostly women. So I work with and coach many different women throughout the region today, and it's amazing.
Coaching is the best.
It is.
Like, it's so rewarding. And I don't know, I do some coaching and I learn a lot about me. It makes me better.
For sure. I encourage coaching as a leadership style as well, right? So coaching isn't about telling you the answer. It is about reflecting back on you, what you emulate, and help you see the value and what you can bring to different situations. And, and so often we don't believe it, right? We get compliments and people will, kind of brush them off like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But we'll take the criticism and we'll believe every word of it.
Oh, facts.
And so it is really, hearing those compliments and those moments and believing them and remembering them as firmly as we remember the negative. So to reflect that back, is really awesome. But also, Timber, it is about standing back and watching them be successful and do their thing in the community. That brings me such pride. I don't need to be out there, right? And for the people I work with to be propped up around this region and is really a wonderful moment for me. We have an audience.
Yes. How different is it running your own business versus running someone else's business, theoretically, right? How is that transition going?
Oh my gosh. Talk about a vulnerable moment. So, I am leaving a great company, a great team of people, a great title, right? And I step out on my own all by myself. And now I am just Vicki out there and with so that was a super vulnerable moment saying, well, who am I? Why do I feel I can do this? Right. And then you are your own admin, your own IT department, your own sales department, right? It's just like, I want to help people. And so there's a whole other, there's other things that come with it. But with all of that, the positives far outweigh the negatives for me, right? Technology today is just still not my thing. So find the right people to work that. But, the positives of working with people, seeing the light bulb go on and them having that moment that they know what to do next and is why I do what I do.
Okay. Well, now I think I can ask this question. I think we've gone through some things.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would you like to be doing? What would be the ultimate dream?
Yeah. So, well, maybe sitting on a beach with a beverage with an umbrella straw in it, maybe. But
Ooh, yes,
that's out there. I don't know if I'd change what I'm doing. The beauty of what I do is that I can make those decisions every day. I can decide who to work with and where to be. But also on this journey, I started a women's leadership conference. And, that came out of, I was invited to the Forbes Women's Business Summit in New York, one of the last years I was in my corporate role. And I didn't go, but it looked like really an amazing event. And I think it was. I think Michelle Obama literally spoke at it that year.
Oh, man.
I know. But I'm looking at that and I'm like, so women's summits are a thing? So I started kind of looking around, and there's a few of them. And I had the idea, I'm like, we have really awesome women here in Northeast Wisconsin.
Yeah, we do.
What if we'd pull a day together where they could come together and learn and grow? And that's where the Women's Leadership Conference was founded. And we had it our first year in 2019, put a fabulous day together, really went out to a few of the corporate companies that I've worked with. And I said, if you believe in this, I will make it happen. And they did. And 2019 was the first. And we will be having that conference again in 2026, and in October. And we will most likely have around 1,000 women attending the Women's Leadership Conference. So, I do these things, right? And these are passions of mine. So I don't know if I would do things differently, because I have the freedom right now to really make those choices. And I love that. And so other than the umbrella drink, I'm really in a good place, Timber.
We're not going to just slide by that, Vicki. Okay, we got to talk about this conference a little bit now.
Okay.
All right, we're just not going to slide through that, because, that is actually how I ended up meeting you. Was some of my coworkers and my partner in crime. Shout out to my girl Andy out there doing big things. But when they went to your women's conference, and when they came back, they were buzzing, like just buzzing with just being in the room full of all of these professional women. It felt like they belonged, from what I understood, from the way they talked about it. They felt safe to be authentic in that space. Like, seriously, the energy that they brought back from it gave me pause, and I had to ask some questions, because, I want to know. I want to know what am I missing out on? And then they tried to talk me into going, and I said, I'm scared. So no.
Oh my gosh. First, Timber, thank you for all those compliments. And I hear those same words from attendees, and it's an honor to be able to bring that space to our community. But you're right. These women show up with a vulnerability and a passion to support each other that just creates an energy in the room that is amazing. And, so our day, my role is to bring in great speakers and great topics, and really, keep that energy going and meet these fabulous people. And it's really become a wonderful day that is hard to explain. I'm sitting here, like, literally hard to explain. And when I started this, I didn't know, right? So you think about the end game. I had no idea it would do to get this far. I mean, it's not just Northeast Wisconsin that's coming to this conference anymore. We had 12 different states represented. We have people coming from Florida and Colorado and California, and, they're coming to Northeast Wisconsin for a women's leadership conference. I'm super proud of that. So thank you for all of that. And Timber, you should go. There are a few men that do attend. I mean, granted, half of them are my family, but you should go.
All right. You know what? I'll think about it.
I got to tell. So I have to tell a story. So my husband goes, and my son goes every year, and my dad's been there. But my husband was, after listening to one of our speakers a few years ago, he's just sitting there like shaking his head. And he's like, is that really what goes through your mind when, because it was around leadership and the burdens we carry with leadership and as women. And he's like, is that real? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he never knew. And so if you go in with those open mindsets of learning and growing, it'll be awesome. So you will be there.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not.
I'll get you there.
Wait, I'm not scared.
I think you just said you were scared.
Yes, I did.
I understand.
No, you know what? Let me talk to the boss. Let me see if I can get myself into the room.
Yeah, it would be great.
All right. Well, I think it's time that we get ready for absolutely that time. And Kosh listeners, you already know when you hear that, that means it is time for the topic of the week. And the topic of the week is chosen by our guest 99.9% of the time. And guess what? Not going to be any different this week. So, Vicki, what's our topic of the week?
Oh, yeah. So that's tough to pick, but I think we should talk about being advocates for each other. And right.
Ooh, say more.
Yeah. So, so often we feel alone in this, in our journey or where we're going or what we're doing. And there are moments that we just need that support or that encouragement from someone else. And I really would love that environment where if people see a wrong or see something that, should be brought to an attention, that people would advocate for each other more. I see it in high school. I see it in the professionals, right? We see it in our political landscapes, but I don't want to go there. But, it's just that moment that I could say, I'm not sure your comment landed correctly, or right when we see these things that are not right, let's say something.
That in an ideal space would be amazing. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's safe to do right now.
Isn't that a shame?
It is a shame. Because I feel like there was a time where you could,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't know what changed.
Yeah. There's just been moments in my journey and in my career when, something was done or said, and I am just like, what was that? Right. And I'm sitting there almost surprised. So not in a space where I could say something. And most often the people that are doing it don't know they're doing it. And the safest person in the room to say something is the person just observing. And yet they don't say anything. And, I, as a female leader working up through the organization, there were so many times I was the only in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And to not feel I had that support from the team around me was challenging for me to navigate.
Did you go back and maybe you didn't say what needed to be said in front of in the big room, in the space with everyone? Did you go back and get in the ear of who it was really intended for, or those who were highly influential to help make changes?
I can say probably 90% of the time I did not. Because there is a fear of retaliation, right? These are scenes in, conference rooms or in the hallways and as a woman leading organizations, there is a balance we have to carry of being a leader versus being bossy, a burden of being liked, because not liked, you start getting labels. And so I didn't feel confident enough to do that for myself.
See, I get that. But my leadership, that is exactly my leadership style, where I'm not going to say it because, trust me, I've been the only in almost every space professionally.
I know you understand.
Oh, yeah. But what I've found that works, just to take some of the high stakes of that being an advocate, is I usually wait and get out of the space and then do it in a one-on-one. Do it over coffee and maybe get out of that power setting as a whole. And then I've just found, like, it's received.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't necessarily always institute change, right? But it's received, and it's received respectfully, and it doesn't necessarily harm those relationships.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you're able to do that. And I think why I feel my journey was a little different is that I just felt, I didn't feel those were safe environments for me to say it. And it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't catastrophic, right? I navigated through a fabulous career, but yet it's those moments that I remember more crystal clear sitting in this chair than I do all the good ones, and I work, and so I also do keynote speeches, and I speak on this often because it's overcoming that surprise of the moment and just saying something non-confrontational, and just because I just didn't have that as I was going through my journey.
I so get that. What do you think we can do now to get to a place of trusted advocacy again? Right? Because I say it that way intentionally, because the thing I think that's keeping the growth of more advocacy and more spaces is a lack of trust.
For sure. I would agree, and so my hope is that people stay curious and open, because so often we listen for right and wrong, or yes or no, or black and white, right? We just listen for those. And so often we listen with the intent to respond. So we stop listening and start thinking about how we're going to respond. And when things are different than how we perceive them, we want to change others' perspectives. And I would ask that we actually just ask more about what is it that they see, right? Tell me more. Tell me more is such a strong question. And so it would be really to see people for who they are, right? And that power of being seen, Timber, right? Like if someone sees you for who you are, how much courage and confidence that can give you. It's awesome. So that's what I want people to do to each other, with each other. It's just see them.
Facts. I'm going to add on to that.
Please do.
I think if you don't know, because I think some people don't know necessarily how to be an advocate, right? How to create advocacy, how to promote it. And I just want to say step one is listening.
For sure.
That's it. Go listen.
Right.
Gain understanding.
Right.
Because once you understand, then you can figure out how to help advocate.
Yeah. And you will understand maybe a challenge someone is going through that you never knew, or without truly seeing them, you can't support that unknown. So, and people their bags are full of things we don't see. So for us to just be curious and to allow that true conversation to happen is really powerful.
I think this is a really cool path you've taken us down. Where do you think we right now societally could really use some growth in advocacy, or some more advocacy, or understanding in advocacy? Let's just say advocacy.
Yeah, it's and for people that have a hard time truly knowing what that is, it another way to think about it is really the is being seen, right? I think that's another way, and showing support when you see somebody for who they really are. Where can we use that? Goodness gracious. So my head goes to, in my work, it is women in leadership, women in business. And, but also, it's your neighbors. It's so many places, but I focus my work on helping those women to be advocates for each other as they grow in their challenges.
Is there any last things that you would like to say about your topic of the week before we pivot to our next segment?
I think, when we've been wronged, and I really want people to know that it's okay to do nothing also, because it's a very vulnerable place to be in. And if you don't feel safe standing up for yourself, that's okay too, right? That's why I really look for those around to do more, because sometimes it's not a great place for the person themselves to stand up. I'm so glad you have that environment, but that's just not everywhere.
No.
So,
and it's a risky move, because
Right.
even if you do take it offline like that, sometimes it is not still well received.
Right. Yeah. So, so that's where I would land, but also find the person you trust to talk to, because I don't want you to feel alone.
Facts. Okay. Next segment is called the soapbox. And this is the opportunity for our guests to get on a soapbox about whatever they feel passionate about at this time. So, Vicki, what are you getting on the soapbox about?
Well, it's going to follow the same theme that we've been going through, but my soapbox is going to be, and I don't exactly know, but how to say it clearly, but it's really about the balance that women have to carry all the time, right? Especially as we grow in our professional career, right? I mentioned earlier, we have to be the boss, but we can't be bossy, right? We have the pressure of being thin, but don't be too thin. We have the pressure of, we have our kids at home, but don't talk about them too much, right? We have the courage to lead, but don't tell people what to do. It's just, there's this balance of this right way that women are supposed to act. And it can be overwhelming how to know you're walking the line correctly. And it makes me mad.
It makes you mad.
Yeah. We want the security of having, financial success, but yet we can't want money. It's just, there's all of these biases that happen that we're trying to balance and trying to walk into a room perfect. And it just is not, it's
impossible.
It's a difficult dream, right?
Yeah.
And so that, so it's so much of, did I say too much? Did I not say enough? Should I speak up? How do I speak up? Do I belong in the chair at the table? I should maybe sit back a little bit. I'm just glad to be here. Oh my gosh, Timber. It's like, yeah, I'm just honored to be here. And it's like, no, you're there for a reason. Step up and contribute. And no, I'm just happy to be here. There's all of these balances, and it is really difficult to navigate. And it depends on the room you're in, right? If you're at the family dinner table versus at the corporate table versus, at the community table, we have to, know how that is all the time.
Since you've already kind of stated what generation you come from by corded phones.
Right.
What have you seen maybe that has changed for women in the professional workplace, and particularly women in leadership, from when you first started off on your journey to today?
Yeah. So when I started out, it was very competitive with women to continue to move their career up, because only a few made it. And so to have a community of women to support you was more of a pool of women that compete with you. I would say today that there is more collaboration and support from women to encourage women to continue to evolve and grow in their career. It's versus the competitive nature that it was for me a few years ago.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. What do you think changed there? Is that Was that because there was so few women in those spaces, and maybe that's what created what I'll call the Highlander effect? There can only be one, right?
Yeah.
Because as a person of color, we feel like that.
Yes,
we feel
I
like
know.
that all the time because it feels like since we are the only one in the room, when we're actually in a room where there's more than one of us, and then it's at times, you hope it doesn't feel like this, but sometimes it can feel like Highlander.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't know what I also feel is that people are having the courage to be who they are, right? So especially a woman in business, right? And a woman as an executive leader or a leader of an organization, there was this persona you needed to carry that was president or executive. What I'm seeing today is more women specifically are actually able to carry that and still be their authentic self and the courage to just be. And that is truly amazing, right? Because I know I carried the persona of being a president, right? I told the story of going to the East Coast. I mean, I put on my suit coat and, and went off. And so that people can be more who they are is encouraging to me. So that's one, that I see as a true positive.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add on your soapbox before we let you step down off of it?
I don't know. I know I'm speaking to someone that understands, and so much of what we do, we think it's about us. And I did something wrong. Yes. Or I have to change, or I have to, right? And sometimes it's not about you
at all.
And we have a hard time seeing it because then we want, right? We read the book, we go to the seminar, we listen to the thing, right? And so it's also educating the people around us. And sometimes that's easier when a third party can come in and do that. But I just want people to let go of it's my fault a little bit.
Yes. And it sure is nice every once in a while if you run into those people along the way that remind you, know that we chose you for you.
Right.
So bring you. We didn't choose you for this cookie cutter imagery or presentation or knowledge base. We chose you for you.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if we all believed that? That would be fun.
Well, sometimes we got to have somebody remind us or tell us.
Yeah. We get in the trenches, right? We get to overthinking. We are, awake at 2:00 in the middle of the night. And
oh my God, you're making me feel seen.
These things are bouncing through our head. I mean, we're not kind to ourselves at 2:00 in the morning, right?
No.
And it's hard to recognize that it might not be you, right? We take ownership of all of that. So a little grace, right? But I mean, that's overused too. But it's yeah. So go be you.
Or maybe grace isn't used enough. I'm just saying.
Well, I say that, with this balance of what women carry, it's like, give yourself grace, but, make sure you learn from your mistakes, right? Be grateful, but want more, right? All of that is good.
All of it. Oh, okay. Well, that was a really good soapbox.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me get on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Next segment, 21 questions.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
All right.
You ain't new to this.
Okay.
We've traveled this path.
I know.
Actually, this might be where we had our glitch. Don't worry. I'm keeping an eye on things.
All right. Thank you.
So 21 questions is not 21 questions. It is some really good in-depth questions that just really help us understand our guest a little bit better. So, Vicki, question 1. What motivates you?
My motivation is connection with others. It truly is knowing you, right? And that's where I get my energy. Right. You talk about what I do for a living, and all of the things that I don't like are when I have to sit at my desk all by myself. And it's when I'm in front of people that that is what motivates me. To see you go do what you do is the most amazing thing. So that motivates me.
What does success look like to you?
Success is, for me, is fun. Like, are we having fun? Fun is very important to me. And if we can get to a space where the stresses of the world are a little less and we can just enjoy, that is success. I don't care what it is, but let's go laugh. Let's go be. And that is what success is.
What irritates you?
So over apologizing.
Ooh, yes.
It's just one of those things. I got a story on this one. So I coach women on this all the time. And it was interesting. I was facilitating a group of high school girls recently, and one of the high school girls would apologize. I'm like, I had to stop the whole thing. And I said, okay. And I went on my apologizing soapbox there. But I coach on this all the time. And I was out walking on a path around our house, and there was kind of a blind corner. And he was probably 5 years old, maybe 4 years old. And he was coming around the corner on his bike, and we almost collided. I was walking, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, raises his hand, and he's on his bike. He goes, no problem. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just did what I coach everybody, right? But it's the apologizing for walking in the room together. It's the apologizing, right? It's in the grocery. I don't hate apologizing. So when you apologize, make it mean something, but don't apologize for everything.
I want to stay on this for a quick second, okay, because this is something that I'd listen for this, and ladies do this like all the time. And I'm one who will stop and say, no need for an apology, that you didn't do anything. Like, cause I want to let them know I'm listening, A, and B, what are you apologizing for? Let's not do that.
Right. And it can be so harmful when we're talking with someone, that we will say, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you. It's like you're already discounting what you're saying by saying, I'm sorry. And that just doesn't make sense to me. So and we do it without even knowing we do it. Nope,
that's it. It's so second nature. Like it's out there before they've thought about what they've said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard, but I'll catch it. I'll catch it.
What worries or scares you?
There are things, right? I would say, snakes and spiders come to mind. I was just in Arizona, and there was a beautiful path around the place we were at, and they were telling us not to walk around that at night. And if you do, just walk around with closed-toed shoes on, because the rattlesnakes and the scorpions are out there at night. But, I would say, so that's kind of general. But conformity scares me, right? That when we conform to be, so that can be a scary thing for me when I see people maybe giving in when they may have different opinions or different things that they believe in. Well, our world needs differences that can work together.
Ooh, facts. Okay. What are you grateful for?
Well, we touched on this earlier, but I am super grateful for trust. I feel I can give trust, and I feel that I can earn trust. And it is a foundation of those relationships and those connections that are so important to me. So I'm very grateful to have those relationships and to build those. And you don't have to have a ton of them, right? So for those out there that are just like, well, how do I start building trust with people around me? I would just say start with one. And you know when you're in the safe place to give it and receive it. So I'm very, very grateful for trust.
What do you want to be remembered for?
So I am a woman, and I did raise two fabulous kids. And so I do want to be known for raising two great humans that'll go out and do beautiful things in the world. So that's just a given. I think most moms would say that, and dads. But what I really want to be remembered for is elevating women and girls. I have I have seen the challenges. I've lived through the challenges. I am helping women go through those challenges. I've just started a new effort to help high school girls elevate their thinking. And I really want to be known as that support and advocacy for women and girls.
How do you define love?
Okay, so I did my homework.
Uh-oh.
So I'm like, how do I define love? So I actually looked up the definition, and it is an intense feeling of deep attraction, which I'm like, yeah, that's great. But I define love as home, as being home, right? It's a comfort. It's a routine. It is those whatever home is for you, right? And that is where love is for me.
What is the most memorable life lesson you've learned from a parent, a guardian, or a mentor?
Yeah, I would say that the thing that I wish I would have known earlier is just be you. Just be who you are. Learn and grow, but your uniqueness is what's the beautiful thing. So even if I don't talk like you, I don't look like you, I don't come from the same background as you, I want you to be you. And so that learning of just be you.
Okay. Here's the real question, the one that most people really want to know. All right. And you already set yourself up. So, you already said you do keynotes. So I'm just going to say, hey, you're getting ready to go out here and do one of your fabulous keynotes in a crowd full of, we're just going to go with women professionals. That's going to be our audience this time. People you are motivating, people you are helping to coach, people you are helping to guide. What is Vicki's walkout song?
It is Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys.
All right.
So yeah, that's it. And that actually is the walk-up song when I walk up on the stage at the Women's Leadership Conference. So that didn't come from me. That came from those others around me. But I will own it. I'll take that.
You like it?
I like it.
All right. It seems right for the setting.
It does.
Okay. I love that. All right. Well, you have survived 21 questions. Next segment.
Yeah.
Next segment's word association. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say words. You're going to share what comes to your mind.
All right.
Okay. And as you know already, we have a tradition here on the Kosh, and that is this. We have always started with the same word for even almost all 100 and some episodes, because that word is a fabulous word, because it's the word of family, community, love, happiness. That word is food.
What comes to me is cheese, and not because we live in Wisconsin. I mean, I will give up chocolate before cheese. I know, right? But what's funny is that we're known as these cheeseheads, right? And as I have, done my travels and worked with people from all over, and they laugh at the cheeseheads like at the Packer games or whatever it is. And I'm like, anybody wearing a cheesehead at a Packer game is not from Wisconsin. We don't wear cheese on our head, but we truly do appreciate cheese.
We truly do eat a lot of cheese.
We do. And I'm one of them.
Yeah, I love that. How do we like our cheese in particular? First let me ask, is there a specific cheese you like, and in what form is your favorite?
Yeah, no, I can't say I have a favorite. They all are delicious. I would say melted, like gooey, is definitely a very great thing. But I am all from, right, cheddar. I don't even want to list them because I love them all.
Okay.
I honestly don't know one that I don't like.
That's how we get down.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask, when Vicki makes a charcuterie board, is it primarily cheese?
It is a lot of cheese. I mean, we have to put a little bit of the cold cuts on there just because sometimes you need a little, balance.
A little salt.
Yeah, right. But if I'm going for a cracker, it's cheese.
Facts. Okay. Cocktail or beer?
Oh, I know this is so Wisconsin, but I like the good old fashioned. I mean, it is a meaningful beverage in my family. We've come up with a recipe that we've that we have on our own. It will be the beverage of choice if we're like in the northern 2/3 of Wisconsin. The rest of the world is learning how to make an old fashioned, but they're still not the same as a good old Wisconsin supper club old fashioned.
Sweet or sour?
Sweet. I know.
Whiskey?
Whiskey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Shop local.
Well, okay. So I'm going to give a shout out to Caramel Crisp. That was one when I had in my corporate career here in Oshkosh, that was my spot. Like I loved it. And to see all that they are doing now with, the growth of their shop. And I just love what they're doing there. So I'll shout out to Caramel Crisp.
All right. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Caramel Crisp, literally, they're going to have to talk to me. Caramel Crisp, if you are out here listening to episodes of The Kosh, we really need to talk because they have literally been mentioned in like the last 5 to 6 episodes.
No way.
Every single time. And they are either the gym, the Kosh Hidden Gems, or they come up here in Shop Local. So whatever they're doing, people are loving it. And it's usually centered around the monster cookie.
I was going to say the cookie.
And, I'm not going to lie. I have only set foot, and I've lived in the Kosh for over 30, right? I've probably set foot in Caramel Crisp maybe like 3 times. And apparently I'm missing out.
Yeah, you are. It is all things. Like you can, and the cookies, right? The cookies.
Music.
Oh, well, I told my Bon Jovi story earlier, right? So that was definitely an influence. But I got to tell, so I have 2 adult children, and a couple years ago, they were like, "Mom, you're coming to a Morgan Wallen concert with us," and I'm like, "I don't really like Morgan Wallen." I'm like, "I don't even know Morgan Wallen. What on earth?" And they're like, "No, you're coming. We want you to come with us to Morgan Wallen." And so I started listening to his music because I'm not going to go to a concert and not be able to sing the songs, right? That's just not how I roll. So I started listening to Morgan Wallen and we went to this concert. And there is just something about being at a concert with your 2 children, just enjoying the moment. So now I am a Morgan Wallen fan, not only for his music, but for that environment that he brought to me with my kids. It was awesome.
That's amazing. And I get that. I got a concert planned with my daughter and her husband this summer. And I'm just like, me and my wife both were like, they asked us. We feel so privileged.
Can I ask who?
Yes, we're going to go see Pitbull and Lil Jon.
Ooh.
So Lil Jon and Pitbull out at, what is that? Alpine Valley.
Oh, well.
And this is my first trip to Alpine. So I'm geeked.
You've been here this long and you've not been to Alpine?
No.
You got to get out a little bit. Not Caramel Crisp. No, Alpine Valley. I'm glad you're getting out there, Timber.
It's one of those things. I'm at that age. I need to try a few things before I can't move around no more. Do it while you're mobile.
Lil Jon is the huge Packer fan, right?
Lil Wayne is the huge Packers fan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lil Jon is the what guy? What? Okay. Right. Yeah, he is famous. Okay. Streaming.
I don't really stream. I don't have one. I know, kind of weird, right?
Wait a minute, though. Okay. So you don't got a Netflix or anything either?
I mean,
No, just no stream.
I mean, it is weird, I know. But I am not that vested in all the shows.
All the shows.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. Last word. Community.
Joy. Community is what it is a peaceful, joyful place. And we have that here in Northeast Wisconsin. It is really a wonderful place to be.
Okay. The applause means we have made it through another segment.
Wahoo.
All right. Next segment is called The Kosh Hidden Gems. So, Vicki, this is your opportunity to share a hidden gem with the Kosh listeners. Does not have to be in the Kosh. Maybe it's something we all know about and we don't know the details, or maybe it's something we don't know about and you're going to share the details.
Well, I think everybody knows the gem I'm going to talk about, but I want to tell the story about this beautiful gem because I was a single mom for a very, very long time. I, raised my kids, and it wasn't until my kids were on their way graduating from high school that I met my husband, and we were looking to get married. And the place that I needed to have this happen at was the waters. And it was all things, right? It was the beauty of Oshkosh, the lake, just the surrounding. It was the beauty of the people. And, it was just an amazing day. And so I will forever have that tucked away for a gem of mine. And it was at that event, right at my wedding. My daughter was 16, my son was 19, and she gave a toast. And we're in the upstairs of the waters, and all the beautiful round tables and the beautiful people sitting around them. And she gets up and she wants to give her toast, and she says, "There are a lot of girls my age that dream of her wedding, and she said that wasn't my dream." She said, "I've been dreaming of this day because, Brendan and I are leaving soon, and we didn't want mom to be alone." And that was, it's just the love and energy that was in that space. And it's all that. It's so awesome. So my heart belongs here.
I'm going to co-sign that because that's where my daughter got married. And let me just say this, that team is amazing. Oh my God, they were so helpful. And the people who served on the day made the day extra special. And that venue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, for what it is, that to have that in the Kosh, and also for it to be fairly affordable.
Right.
For a wedding venue.
Right.
That's insane.
It's all things.
It is all things. So I just want to give a very, very big shout out to the Waters, because Vicki, I so agree with you on that, Jim.
And they can mix a fabulous old fashioned.
Oh, they handle their business. They do handle their business, even when everybody is rushing there.
Yeah, right.
All right. I love that as a Jim. Okay. So our last segment, but my favorite segment, and that segment's called Story Time. And that is an opportunity for our guests to share a story with the Kosh listeners. That story can be about absolutely anything. You've been very kind to us because you've been blessing us with stories all along this episode. But I know you got one that you're holding there. You're holding a big one for us.
Oh, so I gotta go back. So I want to talk about the community that we live in, right? So, and like I mentioned, I was a single mom for quite a while. And there was literally a time when I was traveling and it snowed back here in Wisconsin. And I was dreading coming back because literally I don't know who was going to shovel my driveway, right? And I don't know if I would have been able to get in after the snowplow came through. And so I am turning the corner on my street and someone snowplowed my driveway. I literally, like Timber, I almost cried because like the burden of, right, doing all the things and to come home and to see that being done, I was just like, the beautiful community we live in, that we are able, right, to give each other these gifts is really cool for me.
Oh my God. You know what that made me think of?
What's that?
We should give a shout out to all of the individuals out there who do that, because I'm not even kidding, because, with us just having snowpocalypse here a couple of, a month ago now.
Right.
Like, because that was a surprise.
Right.
Snowpocalypse was no joke over here.
Right.
And when you have those individuals, I love the individual with the ridiculous snowblower that they're thinking, this is time to make this happen. I paid a lot of money for this joker, and I'm going to get out here. I'm going to do the whole block because, and just know this. You are a blessing. We see you. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of us out here who need you to come out there and bless us all.
Right. And they're out there having fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
They have the big thing and they're out there doing their thing. And God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Because I know what you're talking about with that.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Well, Vicki, at this time, we're going to get ready to start wrapping up this episode. So we're not done, but I just want to take a moment and say thank you for sitting here on the couch with us.
Thank you. Thank you for creating this space. It's an honor to be sitting across from you on this.
Hey, I call it sitting in the chair now.
Yep.
And thank you for making the time. And the space is special. And I can't even explain why, but I really do feel like there's this positive energy of sharing that happens within it. And there's things that we can share with each other that helps us become a stronger community.
Right. We are not alone.
We are not alone. All right. Well, Kosh, listeners, you already know what's about to happen here. Yep. You know what that means. We're going to start wrapping up this episode. So let me just say to you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about another amazing community member, another amazing neighbor out here, helping to make our community a better place. I loved everything about this conversation. It was real. It was authentic. It was helpful. I hope you pulled a nugget out of it that will help you. And for my professional ladies out there, you now know there's this amazing conference that happens. So don't talk about it, be about it. Get in that space, get that energy, meet your peers, become a stronger professional, grow your support system. I just really had fun with this conversation overall. But you also know we got work to do here, and let me give you some homework. We are always trying to become the #1 podcast in Wisconsin. Can't do it without you. So while you're listening to us, I need you to do a few things. That is this. If you're listening and you're thinking, I want to sit in a chair, most definitely reach out to me and let me know. You might be reaching out and you're saying, Tipmer, we need a segment on this, or we need to ask a question about that. Most definitely. You got to let me know. Your input is everything. So reach out to me at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. And let me know what we need to be doing, how we can change, how we can become better. Also, I want to get in front of more eyes and ears. I think we have something so special here. You know, the goal of the Kosh was to rip down the silos and for us to get to learn about our neighbors and hear them as their authentic selves and what they care about and what's important to them and what their contributions are to our region. And I think it would be cool if more people could learn about it. So I need your help with analytics. And what that looks like is this. As you are listening and you see the opportunity to press a button that says subscribe, do that. Or if there's an opportunity to give 5 stars, do that. Or if you're really motivated, go ahead and write that review. These are all things that help our analytics. And the better our analytics, the more people can learn about this little cool community podcast known as the Kosh. Okay, so Vicki, we are back on, and here's what's about to happen. We are working through buttons here. That's what we're doing. So let me make sure I got this right here, I believe. Oh, that wasn't the button. All right. You know what? We're going to let that be the button this time. Okay, usually we have a nice air horn, but we're just going to call this shout out time. So, what are your shout outs?
Oh, goodness. So I want to shout out to the Oshkosh Community Foundation. It's just a wonderful asset here, especially the Women's Fund. shout out to them, a group of women doing really great work for women. So shout out to them. I want to shout out to the people that were my advocates right through my career. There's just great people that I've been able to work with and be with and that have supported me. Margie Harvey was that fearless HR executive that called me when I was stretching the cord to try to be in the bathroom. Just shout out to her. Some great leaders at Miles Kimball. Stan Krangle was the president that preceded me, an amazing man that prepared me for my career. Shout out to, amazing events and Joey Reeder, who is the partner with me on the Women's Leadership Conference. Shout out to my husband, man, he has patience for me and all my things. So love that. And shout out to my kids, right? I'm super proud of them. This journey that we've been on, the three of us, for a long time is great. And my last but not least, Timber, is a shout out to you and all that you bring our fabulous community.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me see here. I got my list of shout outs. My first shout out I want to give is to the Varsity Club. You know what? If you don't know about the Varsity, they are fabulous. It is the bar hall. It is over on Main Street. It's huge in there, but you know what they have? They have some of the best bar food in Wisconsin as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
And the people are cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? So it's a vibe in there and it's just a good time. So I went to Varsity with the wife. We had an amazing time. I've been going there for years. We appreciate y'all just for what you are. I want to give a very, very special shout out to UWO. Once again, as a super proud Titan. And Titans out there, we need to do a better job of telling people we're Titans because we should be super proud about being a Titan. All right. But UWO has given me the opportunity that by the time you hear this episode, it probably has already happened, but I got an opportunity to MC the inauguration of the new chancellor. And the pride that I have that I was selected and given this opportunity, I can't even tell you. It means the world. Now, I'm scared to death. Trust me on that. And y'all already know from all these past episodes that I slaughter some names now. But we're going to do what we do, and we're going to make each other proud. So we're going to make that happen. All right. I want to send a special shout out to Color Bold. And Color Bold is this amazing, almost like a business chamber for businesses of color in our region. And they were the ones that were nice enough to bless me with this small business grant that I'm going to be doing. I've got to take some classes with it. I'm going to be working with SCORE, actually, working with a SCORE mentor also. So, but I appreciate that they saw something in Timber Ties and said, all right, we're going to bless him a little bit and help him grow as an entrepreneur. Appreciate y'all out there. And then y'all already know the last spot. It is not the least spot. It's just the last spot, but it's the most important spot. And that is the last shout out always goes to the wife for continuing to let me make this podcast in the house. Baby, I love you. Okay. Last thing to do here, Vicki.
Yeah.
And that is this. We got an ABC multiple choice. Option A, share some parting words of wisdom with the Kosh listeners. Option B, tell us, what would Vicki today tell 13-year-old Vicki? Option C, all of the above, because that's good multiple choice. You always got to have an all of above.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my answer goes to both A and B. But and I don't know if it's wisdom. That's a big word. But my words would be, don't fear fear. That when we have those moments of fear, they're the moments that you're growing, you're learning, you're doing something new. And don't be fearful of it, but embrace it and continue on your journey.
Facts.
Go out there, be fearless.
All right, Vicki, what'd you think?
Hey, you always make this easy, so thank you. Got to tell you, it's a little hard hearing my voice on the radio.
Ooh, you know what? Everybody says that. The Kosh.